So, do you know how many people out there right now, besides myself, that have been through some sort of trauma or another when they were a child? Way worse than even myself may have had it. Okay? These people, these individuals from that trauma have carried all the way into their adulthood some form of fear, anxiety, resentment, anger, you name it. And that's going to govern and dictate all the decisions they make in their adult lives. Okay? So not only did it affect them when they were younger and have a huge impact on their self-esteem, their confidence, what decisions they made as they grew, and sometimes even making the wrong decisions just so that they can kind of cope with whatever they've gone through. If they weren't taught any skills or lessons, or they weren't taught any ways to heal themselves, what they're doing is they're basically bringing it with them into their adulthood. And you got a bunch of adults right now walking around with still, please understand how I'm wording this, with childlike mentalities of that trauma and the decisions they're making, especially when it comes to either, projecting onto another person, or sabotaging another person, or being jealous or envious or any of those things. That's not even necessary. Each individual has their own gifts, talents, and abilities when they come into this earth, okay? When they come into this realm, they have a contract. They know already before they come here what they're here to do, which is to learn lessons. It's to go through a cycle so they get a better understanding of the human condition and self, all right? And self-love is one of the biggest lessons a person can learn. So you have all these individuals walking around right now and they're hurt, and they're making decisions based off that hurt, and they go around hurting other people. And if no lessons are being learned between themselves and maybe other people that they're dealing with, what do you think happens to that energy? It's like a ping pong effect. Basically, that negative energy is just getting pushed around until it lands on somebody with a big enough heart, big enough shoulders, that decides they want to transmute it and take that negative energy, understand it, really go within, do the introspection, the shadow work and healing, and create something new out of it, which is transmutation. It's basically taking the negative and turning it into a positive. I'm sure you've heard lots of singers and other artists and stuff like that talking about the whole idea of flipping it. Well, you have to be able to learn from the mistakes so you're not recreating the cycle and going through a never-ending hell. All right? And I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little bit tired of seeing people struggle. And it's not out of a hate. It's not out of thinking that they're any less of a human being. It's just watching these people suffer, and through that suffering, whatever they decide to do with the decisions they make out of that trauma. My main goal here is not to gain subscribers. It's not to gain donations. It's not to gain anything, not even any acknowledgement for the work and effort that I've put into it myself through all my lessons that I've learned, my trials and tribulations, my suffering, and what I can divulge to the public, especially here on this platform, so that other people can maybe get a heads up. Maybe other people had no idea, such as myself, previously when I was in a karmic state, about all of this. I had no idea that I had to separate and differentiate my energy from another. I had no idea I could carry certain things and release others. I had no idea, no boundaries and self-respect in the past. I had no value, no worth within myself. I know I loved myself to a certain extent, but as far as putting my healthy boundaries and showing that love to myself, I had to work on that. And I'm not here on any of these platforms, not on Facebook or even YouTube or Instagram. I'm not here to gain recognition. I'm not even here for the monetary value. I will make and earn my money through my gifts, my art, my sewing, even reading cards, anything like that. I will do what I can to make the money in a decent way without having to take, steal, sabotage, or betray anybody else. So I've been hit quite a bit lately with a lot of negative energy. It's because I keep going. I'm not going to stop. It doesn't matter if I have very little in monetary value and worth, even possessions I have. There's going to be people out there right now currently that are in so much pain that they literally look at what I have as if I have more than them. Yet, if it were to be materialistic wise, they have way more. They are not in gratitude attitude, and they're not fully seeing their value and worth, which is something I had to work hard to do. So I understand it's a process. I understand that there's like a bit of a learning curve, and everybody's on different levels, and everybody learns at different times. And I fully comprehend and respect the struggle and how hard it is to have an ego death and really put yourself in your own shoes and do the work to go within. And I do appreciate all of you that take the time to come across my channel. You take what resonates with you. You see whatever other information that I have to offer. You divulge what you can, and if it's not for you, you go to the next video or the next reader or the next person with information that interests you. Find out what you like, find out what you dislike, go after the things that bring you joy, get re-involved with your inner child and any hobbies that may bring you joy. Find out what it is that you need to do for yourself. Set healthy boundaries down with people that probably groomed you and conditioned you to take on their burdens. That would be the lessons that they didn't want to learn or look at themselves, because it was a cycle. They weren't taught how to heal, so how could they possibly help you heal? How could they possibly not project those things they didn't want to heal onto you? This is something that needs to be acknowledged, and something that really is starting to be talked about. It's no longer taboo. More and more people are becoming in touch with themselves and being more spiritual and having a better understanding of how this whole thing works, because there was a huge veil. It's a huge illusion that was placed on the masses. Whether you're spiritual or religious, self-love is not a bad thing. And there's no denying that energy exists. It's scientifically proven, and it doesn't cease to exist. It can be mutated from one version to another. It can go from a positive to a negative, or a negative to a positive. It's like playing Pong. If you have two people that are unhealed and they've taken their traumas, mainly from childhood, because it usually starts early. I've met very few people that have gone their whole entire life without having any sort of trauma whatsoever, and those people really truly are blessed. They've already been through probably many cycles and many reincarnations, if that's something you believe in, and they've learned the lessons they need to. And through their DNA, whatever gifts they have, they're meant to spread the word and be peaceful and loving to the people around them. But not everybody gets that luxury, and a lot of us have to learn the hard way. We really do. But the minute you start taking accountability and realizing that you got to do something for you, what can you do to make it better? What can you do to flip the situation? How can you learn something out of this? When two people are fighting that are not healed and in a karmic state, that energy gets literally bounced back and forth like a Pong game, until somebody grabs a hold of it and is like, you know what? What's my part in this? How can I fix this? How can I do something for me to make the situation better? What is it that I'm not doing for myself? What is it that how am I acting? How am I thinking? How am I affecting another person? What are they actually truly showing me about myself that I'm disliking right now? You know, there's a lot of things, and I know it's not always easy. We put the wall up to protect ourselves, but once you hit a certain age and a certain frequency, that wall that we put up for ego that was meant to protect us originally really doesn't help us in any growth and learning and moving forward. It kind of stifles us a little bit. And if you're at a point right now where you feel stagnant or stuck, or you feel overwhelmed, first of all, ask yourself what you need to do to make yourself happy. What do you truly need to do for you? If you're bored out of your mind and you just sit there watching television all day, what can you do as a hobby to get your hands busy? Do something creative. Experience, explore, master whatever it is that you want to master. How can you change your physical side of it? If you're in poor health right now, what can you do? What steps can you do to take? If you're constantly taking medication, you feel like you're getting worse, then what can you do on a more herbal side of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things and steps we could take. A lot of us are kind of programmed and conditioned just to take the easy way out for most things out of convenience. I'm not saying don't work smarter, not harder, you know. I'm not saying that there's not a way to apply yourself to certain things so that you're not struggling. But what I'm saying is that a lot of us, the ambition, the drive, the positive reinforcement, the ability to lift yourself up and cheerlead yourself forward, we look to others a lot of the times to do that for us. And it's almost like a codependent nature, especially if we were given that, but not all of us were. So the reason I'm coming on here is because I've noticed that there's a few people that almost seem like they want to project onto me like the only reason I'm doing this is for monetary gain. And I'll tell you right now, that's not the case. I make my money other ways. Just because I have a social media platform and some people have donated to me or even energetically positive reinforce what it is that I stand for, what I'm doing, which is healing from trauma, especially from childhood. I really do appreciate those people. But that's not why I'm in this. That's not what I'm doing here. So yeah, I'm getting a call right now and I'm gonna post this video. If you resonate, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you very much. Very, very much. If not, you're welcome to come back and try again later.